Okay. All right, hello and welcome to the first commentated event of the 2025 GLCA U18 Playdowns here in Midland, Michigan. I just kind of got here. I had to go eat dinner, so I do not have team names, but I believe it's Hoffmeister as one of the team names, an old familiar one to the club with new members on it this year. So we're a couple shots into the first end here. Only a few though. Red currently sitting 2. Yellow's rocks are all out of play. One of Red's rocks is out of play. So this year's Playdowns are hosted by the Midland Curling Club, which is obviously where we are. 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I would love to have been commentating on the men's leagues as well as the women's, but I am actually playing in the men's leagues myself. So on the men's side of things, yes, I was on sheet A. So you probably saw me some on the cameras, but I've also been told that the button cameras were both showing the same button. That was a malfunction on the part of the streaming software, I believe. It was reading the correct input on my end, but the output was different. All I had to do was basically just change the input to what it thought it was and then go back, and it was perfectly fine. Obviously, the houses are fine over here on sheet A. We don't have the greatest camera equipment here, but we'll take what we can get for sure. It's like Hoffmeister's going takeout again on that same rock there. But the other team just put right back. Pretty wide on that rock. These rocks are not doing people favors in terms of curl. They're probably about due for a re-sand on the bottom of them, if I may say so. Not entirely sure what the call was there. Maybe a takeout on that, but I don't know why they'd be doing that on their own rock. Either that or it was just giving ice, and that rock is, well, the rock isn't on the tee line. Looks like it was supposed to be a draw. I think it might just be. Looks a little bit up for one. Looks like they just missed it. Missed a tick, if that's what they were going for on that. Rock looks pretty good. Maybe going to go wide, as it seems these rocks have been doing. Very much so going to go wide on that. These rocks, like I said, aren't doing people favors in terms of curl, so you really, like, sometimes on a rock where you're going outside like that, you need to be given your ice on the nose of the rock for it to even get there. They might, yeah, I was going to say line for that one. They said it was down, so. All right, I'll bring it down here, it looks like. Excuse me. Looks like that's going to be a really nice rock. Just sitting back 8 there, back 12 maybe even. A little bit too much on it maybe. Maybe that line pushed it back a little bit, but. That takeout looked pretty good. Skips Rock. Looks like we're on to now. He's got plenty on that. The rock actually looks like it might go wide. I think it's gonna get just enough of it to hold. Yep. I got their rock. Looks like they're just trying to keep things clean going into the first, which so far held them up. Looks like they do have hammers, so they might just be trying to keep themselves to a draw for one or even a blank at the end. There's only 3 teams for the women's side this year from the GLCA. One that is a combination of a few clubs, I believe. It's Midland and then a couple others, and then one that is a fully Midland club. The team whose name I do not know at the moment, sadly, but I know Team Hoffmeister is Midland and then a couple other different clubs. Probably Bowling Green in Detroit. Not entirely sure about that. Well, looks like they got it. Looks like Red's just going to have their draw for one at the end. Just has to touch paint. Which after a takeout might actually be somewhat of a challenge. But knowing Liz, the skip for this team, I think they'll be just fine for this. Looks like it's going to be there. Looks like it's maybe a little up, maybe T. I'm liking T. T maybe. Just has to touch. Well, whatever it does now is whatever it does. Looks like one red going into the second end. Oh, wait a minute. I got that wrong. Yellow now just has to get rid of it. Maybe they're going to get rid of it and keep things blank. That's, I didn't even notice there was another yellow rock there. It's right off to my periphery. I couldn't even see it from the chair. If you're on sheet B, on the camera on sheet B, you could see the warm room on the far wall camera. Yeah, you can see where the stream desk is in the centrally located position it is, but can't because we don't have far end cameras on A, C, and D, but hopefully we can get those at some point in the future. I've been told that the cameras are surprisingly expensive. We mostly just use like your standard security cameras. But, oh, that rock almost had it. Not by much, though. Didn't miss by much. All right, one red going into the second. So far, so good for, I guess what is Team Carroll. Yes, the camera situation. It's an interesting one. It's a hodgepodge of security cameras, but it works quite a bit. The button cameras are all the same. I believe they were all bought at the same time, but the rest of them are the ones on B. B is definitely our feature sheet. We were hoping to be able to get 2 cameras up for Playdowns or for nationals last year for college nationals, but we did not. We only had B, but I did my best to bounce around, and I think frankly, commentating last year for nationals is the reason that I am sitting in the chair today doing this. I had multiple requests from people who had been here at nationals or other bonspiels and knew that I did this, that specifically requested that I come here and do the commentating, which obviously I am, and I'm enjoying it. I like it. So there are actually some people who are saying they were sad that I wasn't able to do it for the men's draws as I was out there on the ice curling. I don't believe I'm on sheet B, or else I'd you know, make it a little more wave once or twice maybe at the camera. But I might have people coming in to commentate on excuse me, on tomorrow or Sunday. Some of the other people from the club who are doing the camera stuff. Most of the people who actually do the putting up an assembly of the cameras and management of it. I kind of just run it, but first couple of wrecks this end. Looks like Hoffmeister not off to a great start. Their first rocket takeout was pretty slow, I think, for a takeout. Looks like Carroll's coming down to a freeze here. T-line looked like their weight. And boy, they really dragged that down to the house. That was pretty good. Both of them are incredibly good sweepers, so. Solid takeout there. At least they got the top one. Looks like they're just going to try and put it back. Looks maybe the same, a little bit less than the last one. Looks like that's going to be really, really nice rock by them. Same rock, basically, right on the tee line. Or not tee line, I'm sorry, center line. Ugh. Looks like Hoffmeister's just going to go ahead and get rid of this one. Got plenty. Looks wide. Oh, they got another peel on that. I think they'll take what they can get for sure. Carroll just going to put this one right on back. Same up and maybe a little wide. Looks like it's just going to be a little bit more. They'll get a little bit of a tap and spread things out. Looks like it might set Hoffmeister up for a double. Looks like that's what they're going to try and do. With only one sheet going on for the ladies, you don't even have to yell that loudly to get your point across. Me and my team were very much having to yell quite a bit to get our points across, from Skip to me as the vice of our team. Our team actually, in what I like to say is just the holiday spirit, but my last name being Krengel, I'm team name took my name, despite O'Brien actually being the last name of our skip for our team. But so keep an eye out for Team Krengel. We might end up on B tomorrow. I suppose I could go look at the sheet, but then I'd have to leave the stream, and that would defeat the purpose of me being here in the first place. So, well, maybe I'll be on B tomorrow. We'll see. Because as I said earlier, B is kind of our feature sheet. It's the only one with cameras on both ends for now. Hopefully we can get cameras on the far ends of at least C by the end of the season. That's our ultimate goal. Looks like this rock's going to be a little wider than they wanted it. Skip's going to try and just drag it over a little bit. It's going to get it covering, but I think a double might still be there for Hoffmeister if they can hit it. Looks like that's what they're going to try and do. Just have to hit a little bit off nose on the top one. Maybe even nose could do it. Looks like this rock's going to be wide, because none of these rocks are curling. Oh, almost had it. Man, that back rock has just been saved by everything at this point. Nothing can hit it. Everything that tries to is just splits right on around it. This rock looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit wider than they want it, but it looks like it's slow enough that it's just going to drag right on over where they want it. Actually, basically the same rock that they threw. They're going to just get a nice little tap and freeze. They're next to each other, so you can just hit either of them and they'll probably both leave. Looks wide. Looks really wide. It might not have been a takeout like I thought. Well, maybe. It looks like it might be there, actually. Looks like they're actually just going to freeze right on top of it, which is a really solid move on their part. Leaves them sitting shot. Still open as you get closer to the button here. We'll see what they do. Looks like they're just going to get rid of it in some fashion. Skip goes down to throw their rock. See how it turns out. I think what they're going for here is just to hit it and then split it out to either side. Actually looks like they got it there. Wow, that is a good rock. And they still sit in play. That's a double takeout, actually. Well, triple technically, but that's a very, very solid way to start off your skip rocks, even in just the second end. The double takeout like that, as it turned out to be, is something you go for late game, especially if you're trying to get it late game. But looks like they're just going to try and hit that one, because the other one in the back there is just, they basically have to sit better than it. You know, depending on what Carroll does here. This one looks pretty good. Looks wide, might come back. Looks like it is definitely coming back. Looks like they're going to sit better than it, even with sweeping. But that just leaves the other team to just take that right out of there and sit too. Well, yeah. Take what they can get. Looks kind of wide. Maybe okay. I think it's okay. Looks like they're going to try and push it back some. Oh, they got just enough of it. They're going to roll out and only get one, but I think that's pretty good for keeping the end clean. Leaves Hoffmeister with a sit for one here. Just basically have to beat, well, full 12, half 12 even. You can be half 12 and still get this. So I get the feeling a lot of these ends are going to be very, very clean ends. Just based off of how these first two have unfolded. Every rock has just been hit and hit and hit, 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 hit. This looks like a really solid draw from them. Maybe a little up. I'd say T just from watching it. If I was out there, I could definitely do a much better job of judging it. But like T top house maybe. It's really carrying its speed. It's really just not slowing down. Looks like they're going to get it solidly 4 foot. Really nice draw to close out the second. One yellow, second end. Tied 1-1 going into the third. It's like one of the sweeper of that last yellow rock was saying she touched it with her broom, but I don't think it would have done anything enough to keep it going far enough, or yeah, anything of the sort. It's honesty, and it's really good to have in the sport. It's the spirit of curling, as they say. These ends are being timed, I should add, so they definitely have the ability to take their time between their ends. Looks like they're on that for line. It's got plenty of weight on it. I don't know why they're on it. I think they were okay when she let go of it. I think that's going to be a really, really solid rock. Watch it come over on the right-hand side of the screen there. I think that was fine without the sweeping. I don't think it needed that. That's a really nice draw to the button, though. Control. Looks like they're going line. I think they got it, though. Do you see why they're on line? It's really curling. Wow. That really caught over at the end there. It's pretty good. Keeping things clean, though, has been the theme of tonight. Looks pretty heavy. Probably through on this rock. Looks like they want something in the house, kind of in the back there. They're giving line just basically center. I've always been a big fan of inside-out shots. Doesn't matter what it is, take out, or from take out to draw. I'll take anything inside out any day of the week. It's in the Sunday night league that I'm part of with my father. We do at the end of the season we do games where it's each end you have these cards and you draw out of a hat basically, and it's like each end you do a different special rule. It's like I was here for commentating World of Curling, and they were doing some of those special rules, like a silent end. You had to do, or like you could only throw one handle clockwise or counterclockwise, that kind of thing. But one of the things we do in Sunday nights is you only throw the shot that you feel you're most confident in throwing. So for me, that's inside-out shots. So you basically play the game. So your vice is still your vice and your skip is still your skip. But you basically just, if it's a guard, one person will throw guards, one person throws draws, one person throws like takeouts, and then one person usually throws, like in our case, and then it was one person throws like the odd handle, which was inside out. So all of the rocks that were inside out that end, I threw. All of the guards that end were through by this person. So we were constantly moving around and throwing each other's rocks. But it was actually funny because our lead this was last year, felt the best about throwing guards, or not throwing guards, throwing draws. So he actually threw all the draws. So it was like our first rock was thrown by the vice, our second rock was thrown by, like, it was a whole thing, but it was really a lot of fun to do. I think it would be really fun to just play an entire game, but it's like a big group of people, and it's like, what are you good at? I'm good at guards. What are you good at? I'm good at takeouts, like that kind of thing. You're like this whole big group, and it's like every single person is like one shot dedicated. Like they're really good at just one thing. I think it would be a really, really interesting thing to do as like a big group event. If you ever like did a rental with people who knew how to, like a bunch of people who knew how to curl already, instead of like a learn to curl type situation. This is the quote-unquote dirtiest it's been so far on the ice. Everything else has been kept very clean in the house. It was a lot of just take out, put it back, take it out, put it back, take it out. But we now have two whole rocks in the house. Well, it looks like now there is going to be one biting. They're going to get a very, very nice stone to the 8-foot, fully buried back there. It's like 105%. Looks like they're going like a heavy draw, maybe, just try and push it back just enough. If you've got enough room there, you could definitely curl it back. Going pretty hard for line. Really carrying the line. Looks like they're going to be on their yellow though, or the other team. They're actually going to get a raise almost into the rings, not quite enough. As we approach 30 minutes on the live stream, I'd like to thank everyone for watching and being here tonight. Even if you, well, I guess if you couldn't be here at the club to watch this live, I'm very happy to be here commentating and offering the live stream of this event. It's a lot of fun for me to do. It's a nice hobby. It's definitely a very nice hobby to have. It's a lot of fun commentating like this, doing like camera work for the local television network. I definitely enjoyed it, so I'm really glad I got into it. So thanks for watching, and hope you're enjoying the stream so far. Looks like this rock's going to just be a little bit too heavy, swept out the back. Back 16, as I like to joke with some of my fellow club members. It's, you know, you got like your back 4, your back 8, your back 12, but then what happens after that? You know, back 16, back 20, back 24, you keep going until eventually you're outside of the building. Or in going the other way, you're, you know, when we throw 6-second rocks, we like to joke. We want it thrown Jefferson Road weight. It's the road right outside our building. You know, instead of wall weight or warm room weight, it's through the wall to the road. But I like to think the only time 6-second rocks get thrown are at Sunday nights when somebody needs to get something out of play to let the other team do something. But usually we don't put quite that much effort into our strategy on Sunday nights. So it's like a pretty, yeah, they need to be on that for line. It's like a solid takeout. My skip instincts kicking in and trying to tell them to sweep for line. Looks like I got something red, pushed it over into that big line of 3 rocks there. Well, they're pretty evenly spaced apart, surprisingly enough. Looks like they're going to try and maybe guard it up there. Put it just far enough over. Looks like it's going to be a little up. They might cross over. It looks like they're going to cross over the center line, but I do think that was what the call was. But maybe only by a little. It looks like it's going to be probably top house, top 8. It's going to come right on over on top of that yellow one. Red's still sitting shot going into this. I believe they have hammer this end. Yes, they should have hammer. This is the 3rd. I'd have to check the pace of play, but I believe they're playing pretty quickly overall. On my sheet when I was playing, it was a pretty significant difference between the amount of time that we were spending on each. And I was at the end, it was 13 minutes and 8 minutes. Our team had 13. We were definitely very adamant followers of the ready curling thing that is slowly being hammered into our minds as junior curlers. It's interesting for me. This is only my 1st year doing competitive, but this is my 5th year actually curling, and 7th year since 7 years since I curled for my first time, but that was COVID. Well, I guess no, it would have been 2018. I curled for the first time, and then my first actual season was 2020. And that got cut super short, and I wasn't even in a league or anything. I was just kind of going to like 1 or 2 practices a month, you know, just to curl, just for fun, because I enjoyed it. And I didn't really have anything else. I just moved here from a different state. But, you know, I really started getting curling in 21. I club curled 21 through 24. Ended the season last year. I was actually a tennis player, but that was my main sport. But I changed over to curling because I got burnt out of tennis, and I'm really enjoying curling a lot more than I ever did tennis. So I think it's going to be my sport for a while, but it is interesting coming from club curling where a lot of my experience is, you know, you play 6 ends and then you go inside because, you know, you got dinner. That was my experience. I played on Sunday nights, and that was what we did. We never really played 8, even if we were tied. We played 6, maybe 7 if we were running really fast, but you know, ready curling was not really something that was ever taught to me because I was never with the competitive people who that actually mattered to. You know, it's on Sunday night, nobody cares. But I've been getting into competitive. I'm a semi-permanent sub on the Monday and Wednesday night leagues, which are the competitive leagues of our club. You know, I've been curling there. I've been curling in Bonspiels. I'll be in Sarnia for the Bonspiel next weekend, and I think I'm going to mixed doubles as well this year. Mixed doubles Playdowns in Wisconsin, but I'm still unsure about both of those at the moment. But I'm definitely getting more invested into curling, and I suppose this is just another way to do that. Looks like that rock took out the guard instead of taking out, well, whatever was supposed to be taken out that was down in there. Should have been paying a little bit more attention, but That's what it is. Looks like they're just trying to go for a draw, maybe top house here. I will say, for those of you who intend on watching the games like tomorrow and the day after, there are probably going to be members of the teams on sheets besides B that will be doing live streaming on those sheets, on whether it's Facebook or Instagram or even YouTube proper. Keep an eye out for those. I've tried to get the links to them posted in the chat here, and I'll try to do a better job with that tomorrow, especially for the women's side, providing there's more than one sheet going on at any given time, but I'm not entirely sure there will be. But looks like Hoffmeister got exactly what they wanted on that rock. Comes down to the hammerstone to figure out what they're going to do to get themselves shot. Keeping them to 1, though, is something that my team definitely focused on when we played just a few hours ago. But yes, do keep your eye out. I'll try and get those links posted in the chat here, so if you need to be watching somebody on C or D, you can be watching that at least on somebody's phone live stream. It's not quite as good as the proper one here on the channel, but we'll definitely take what we can get. You could just have both open too and just be watching both. This actually looks like a really interesting rock. Maybe trying to run back into stuff. Oh. It's actually pretty interesting how that ended up. Not entirely sure that was, well, obviously that wasn't the intent, but kept them to 1 and still only gave up the hammer. Well, they didn't even actually kept the hammer, which is probably good. Keeping them to 1 is, like I said, something that my team was definitely focusing on. I mean, we only scored more than 1 point in the second end, and we scored 2 then, and we scored 1 in every other end. So I do believe, I'd have to check the trophy again, but we either believe we either beat the second place or first place team from last year's GLCA U18 Playdowns, but they also lost a couple of their players. They aged out of the system, or so I've been told. Could be completely wrong for all I know, but we definitely were on par. So, and good game to them. They played really well. They definitely had, more like the oddball shots, like double takeouts and triple takeouts that were like really hard to do. They definitely were more consistent at those, but I think the all-round, well, I guess, yeah, I don't know. It was just really fun. It was definitely enjoyable to play with them. So, looking to keep it up tomorrow, hopefully. We'll see how well we do. Going into the 4th end here. This mark looks pretty narrow. It's got plenty of weight too. Looking like maybe through the house. I agree with their call of the tee back house. Looks like it was through the house. Looks like they're just trying to put something, maybe a corner. Looks like they're trying to just get it there at this point.
Attention Family Fun Night participants. Santa will be leaving the pool in 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes left of our Family Fun Night Swim with Santa. Thank you.
That is unnecessarily loud, good lord. That's, ever since they built the new community center here, we got hooked up onto their PA system since our buildings are now attached. So that's something we got to deal with now. You never know when it might go off. I don't even know when they close tonight. I think it's probably 10, but Sunday nights it always catches us off guard when that goes off. You know, you're just about to throw a shot, ding, ding, goes off. The community center will be closing in 10 minutes, and we're going to be curling here for another hour and a half. But yeah, you know, we're a separate entity. We're separate but attached. That's how we like to put it. We used to be separate and actually separate, but now we just have this big window. It's like, on the bright side of that, it makes Sheet A and Sheet D even, because Sheet A always kind of sloped out to the left side only ever so slightly. It's barely even noticeable, but D now does the same thing because of the internal temperature of the community center, affecting the ice, again, ever so slightly. It's super marginal, but it's just something we have to contend with. Strike looks pretty good. I don't think it, well, maybe it has enough. Looks like it has enough, actually, to get all the way down there. Trying to get as close to the button as possible. I got a 4 foot, so it's pretty good. Not quite buried, I don't think. Obviously, it's not fully buried, or else I wouldn't be hitting it, but I'll get rid of this one, I'm sure. Definitely not. Looks like they pushed it wide. Looks like they're going to try and put something just a little bit higher. They can basically throw the same rock and just sweep it less, basically. Looks like a very solid correction by the no, second, I think. I think that was the second. Yeah, should have been the second, but yeah, it was a very good correction by her. She came out basically adjacent to the center line, but did a very nice job of making sure the rock stayed on the line that she wanted. I think that's actually going to be really nice. That is going to be really, really nice. I don't know if they're going to get that one out of play, but it's going to get pretty close. That did turn out really nice for them. There's very little for them to come down to, or draw around. It's an interesting draw. I'm also finding it interesting, the ice that they're giving. We were giving ice edge 12 normally. For our rocks, at least by the end of the game. I don't recall that much at the beginning. But for a call like this, for a draw, just a standard draw, you know, you're giving edge 12 and it was curling all the way, which is frankly a surprise. And it was really only on from our view here, the left-hand side of the ice. Not quite as much on the right, but I guess that's the sort of fall off that the ice has. Not entirely sure what the ice was doing a couple of weeks ago. We were doing some inside-out takeout drills, and on one side of the ice we were giving handle or broom on the rock, basically, and it was perfect. It was just fine. And then the other side we were giving, this was like takeouts on the tee line inside out, and then on the other side we were giving handle in the center, like on the pin in the middle, and it was still taking it out. It was curling that much on that one side. I'm gonna guess it had something to do with the fact that the ice probably either had been double pebbled or had not been pebbled at all. I'm still not entirely sure what affects what in what way when it comes to ice. Obviously, I'm not an ice maker, and frankly, I shouldn't judge them, but you know, I definitely say that we have really good ice here, and we're definitely a little spoiled by it. So, as they're coming down to the, coming close to the end of the fourth here, one of our ice makers is actually getting ready to re-pebble the ice during the fourth, as they do on the 5-minute breaks that are allotted, which might have had were very nice surprise. I did not know that they were a thing that actually happened during playdowns, well, frankly, at all. This rock looks pretty good. Maybe I think the line's actually pretty okay. Yes, Ware and Claire sound pretty similar. Looks like they're trying to do a raise. Oh, they could have had that on line maybe. Not quite going to get far enough, but it's still going to cut Carroll here down by 1. Or I guess keep them down 2-1. Looks like they were just going to get rid of it though. Rock turned out really good for them, I think. Second to last stone of the fourth here. Looks okay. T maybe? It's really slowing down. I think it's going to be all right. It's going to be very solidly T line. I really like that rock. I would take that. Not quite buried, but there's always that chance they don't make the takeout. This looks really good, actually. Maybe wide. I think it's wide, but I think they're still going to get it. If they get it, though, they do sit 3 this end. Looks like they do. It'll stick. Still 2 rocks remain. Because they're definitely taking their time on the decision-making process here of this rock. Trying to decide what they're going to do. Looks like they're going to try and double that maybe. If they do it right, they can sit better than the other red one and still sit one, which would be pretty good. I mean, hey, even if they hit that, I think they're still sitting better than one. I think this is going to be all right. Looks like they're going to try and curl it. Oh, man. Rolled out. Dang. Looks like they're just going to draw for two now. Draw down for two. Let's see how they do here. I mean, all they have to do is touch 8 foot basically, and they're and they got that. Caught me off guard. I have to be there. Yeah, they're like, yeah, I gotta be here. That's funny. Never stop, never stop. Yes, this is it's a fun sport sometimes. You can be like, never, 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 now, go. Yeah, it's on your sweep calls. It's also, in my opinion, one of the only sports that you are allowed to yell at your coach for. If you're a skip and your coach is on your team and he's sweeping, you can yell at him, tell him to sweep, you know. So. Looks like they've got their 5-minute break here. I think I'm going to take one myself. And yeah, I'm just going to take one myself, go probably mingle with the players for just a moment, and also figure out team names and assorted accoutrement. So I will be back in about 5 minutes here when teams are back on the ice.
about time for Santa to head back to the North Pole. So everybody say goodbye. And Family Fun Night is now over. Please exit the pool if you paid for Family Fun Night. And we are all done. Thank you, and we will see you in the next one.
I have returned after my mingling about with the teams and some friends of mine who came to visit, some classmates, I suppose. First rock looks like it's pretty darn short. That's going to be really close over the hog. Holy. The highest of high guards. Looks like they were talking about how the ice was. Looks like they're trying to draw and get a corner guard, which is honestly exactly what I'd be doing in this situation. They're down by 1 with, you know, not that many points scored in total. That's going to be really far over. That's going to be like, well, it's got plenty of weight on it. Boy, that's really curling. Wow. I think that's got plenty enough weight to drag over to the wings, but it's going to be really far on the wings. That's like not even, you can't even draw behind that. You wouldn't even be in the house anymore. It's a corner guard, but it's a pretty wide one, that's for sure. Looks like they're going to come back around it here. Looks like they're going for line. And now curl. Looks like they're trying to get a tick maybe. Split things up. That's the corner that the other team wanted. And that works out really well for them, I think. Looks like that rock didn't do anything. Probably threw or hogged. I was not paying attention. Look at me go. Look at me being so attentive. No, I was telling somebody the link to the channel so they could send it to family members. So yeah, we are a little over the hour. So thanks again to everyone for watching. Happy to be here tonight for the game. Looks like they wanted in the house. They called 3, so I think that might be okay for them. I don't know if they're going to get that all the way there, though. They got it there. It's sitting top house, buried. Hoffmeister's just going to come around it now, I think. Looks like this rock flew right on through the house. I think the line was okay. I just don't think it curled enough, and it, well, probably had too much weight, so it couldn't have curled enough. Looks like they're on that for weight, just to get it there. pretty down on that rock. Looks like they got it just top house enough. You can still hit that and be in play, but there's no point in it because you're not going to be beating the other rock. Looks like Lindsay's idea is to hit that and just roll over to it, which I'm very much aligned with. I'd do the same, frankly. Oh, wow, they just barely got any of that one. It's pretty good. Guard okay. I think they wanted something in the house. It looks like a little up for a guard, I think. Maybe T back house. Looks like just T plus. This rock looks pretty good, actually. Weight looks solidly on. Maybe a little down. T, maybe. That actually looks really, really nice. I think that was that draw they were going for earlier in the game. Might actually get swept out. Wow. I did not think that was going to keep going. And it stopped as soon as it got over the back line. So it's like they're just trying to, red here, just trying to put another one in the house. Don't even blame them for just try and pull away while they're ahead. It's like they sat just the very back of the house. They're definitely leaving things open here for yellow to just draw down on their final rocks. We'll see what they're able to do. Looks like it actually, sorry, looks like it's going to be pretty okay. They're going to get just a little kiss off that red one, and it's going to send them basically straight back into the 8-foot. Should be an interesting rock. Looks like they're trying to get rid of it. It's definitely all there. It's got plenty. They need to let that curl. They need to. Well, they got it. They won't sit, but they definitely got it. Keeping things clean. Went from a game of keeping things clean to now a game of, well, still keeping it clean. Just, you know, the rocks are very scattered about. Nothing centered over the center lines or, you know, it's everything's, yeah, a little in the back of the house, a little behind your guard, your center guards, or your corner guards, excuse me. It's like same as the last. They got another rock to throw after this one. So, see how that turns out. I think it's more than what they wanted. Back house, maybe. I definitely like the back house call. Like, back house, like T+, I'd say. Looks like they might be trying to at least sit down onto one of the guys. Looks like they got what they wanted there. Well, not what they wanted, but close to it anyway. They got rid of a red rock, so it's just one less thing to be in the house. And it looks like they cut them down 1. Looks like red's going to just try and get rid of it and bring it back up to 3 again. They had a chance for 4 there, but yellow had just enough weight on their rock to throw it out of the house. I heard them say peel weight. It was actually pretty surprising. It's peel weight, still sat. It's a pretty good rock, actually. I think they're definitely going to take what they can get here. Yellow just needs a draw for 1 right now, but a draw for 1 with hammer is not really what you want to be doing. At least I believe they have hammer. Yes, this is hammer rock. A draw for 1 with hammer. It's definitely not the optimal situation to be in. Usually you want to be drawing for a few more than that, but it's awfully close to the hog line she's letting go, but I think she'd know if she was letting go of it over. Not that it matters that much. Anyway. Wow, that's really slowing down. God, I hate that feeling when you're like, that rock's not going to do what it needed to do. That's sad. It's like red gets 3 as they head into the 6th end. 6 of 8. 2 more, about 3 more ends remained. 6th, 7th, and 8th. Looks like they're taking their time here in between ends. I'm going to take it and go get myself a drink of water. I'll be back in just a few moments. I've returned. Looks like this rock's going to sit 4 foot. Not quite a guard, but, you know, it's guarding the hack. It is what it is. Another one of my jokes from Sunday Night League. Looks like this rock wasn't quite takeout weight. A little bit of a disappointment for Hoffmeister there. They're going to sit on it. It's not going to get it out of play, but or even out of being shot, but it's another rock in the house that Carroll here is going to get rid of. Oh, wow. Oh, that is not a gap I thought you could shoot, but wow. That was actually more impressive than I think hitting it actually was. A little down. I think that's probably T-top house. Way out. Looks like they're going to get the back yellow one there instead of the double. 9-2. I heard that. That's all right. They're going to roll out. Leaves yellow shot. Looks pretty far out for the takeout that they wanted. Well, if they wanted to take out, I guess. You sure? Yep. Gets off sweeping because you don't think it's there. I don't know. That's a really good rock by them. Now they're sitting 2. This is going pretty well for Hoffmeister. If Hoffmeister can get, what is that, 4? They can tie up going into the 7th, which is a tie up without hammer, but that's a pretty solid way to go into the 7th and 8th. Go in with a tie. We were coming off the 7th end up 4 after scoring 1. It was like they hit the other team. They either hit theirs or hit ours and stuck, and they scored 2. Or we sat, or they missed and we sat 1. I did not think they were going to miss, and they, sadly for them, missed. Oh, looks like they got their own rock out of play. Disappointing for them. Still sitting though. Still got 1 in play. But yeah, they ended up coming down to it, and they were like, everyone except the Vice was like, well, I guess I shouldn't say everyone except the Vice. They were a little bit on the fence, like, should we shake? Do we have a chance to score 4 to tie it to go to a 9th? You know, it's it's hard when you're in that situation. It's like, do you shake, knowing that that chance is still there? I've been in that place many times, actually. You know, I'm usually a device on a team. You know, it's when I was at Chaska, the summer camp at the Bonspiel for the summer camp. I remember it's funny. I remember one of the teams we played. I think it was the first game. The first game we played, the team we played, they thought they were just going to walk all over us. It's going to be a blowout. But we ended up actually holding our own, and we ended up with 3 in the last end to a last shot draw. It came down to my last shot draw, and it was like an inch and a half was the only difference between our 2 rocks. It was super close. Like, it was almost so close that your mind didn't want to tell yourself that it was close enough that you didn't win. Like, it was the kind of close where you don't want to tell yourself that it's close, that it's just not close enough, you know. It was really interesting. They told us afterwards that they were actually said they were hoping to not have to feel sorry afterwards because of how, you know, bad they had beat us, but they were, you know, really happy with how they had performed and how we had performed, especially since my team was very young. I had no idea what I was doing. You know, I was a skip. I still, frankly, have very little experience. You know, it was a lot of just I had to rely on my gut, and it's pulled me through. Same goes for the game after that we played. That game was also very much powered by my own, I don't know, I guess my gut. Just whatever I saw, I was just like, okay, this is the rock I'm going to do. I don't know if it's the right shot or anything, if it even makes sense, but, you know, I just did it. So it was kind of my first experience doing competitive curling in reality, but looks like this rock's coming down kind of slow. Maybe trying to get a center guard, just barely making it over the hog. 3-2. No, 2-1. I don't know why. I have an issue where sometimes I mix up 3 and 1. Obviously 2 is still the middle in between the house and the hog line, but I'm like, is 3 closer to the house or is 3 closer to the hog line? And that's in my mind, you should be counting it from the top, because like in the house you count it 12, 8, 4 foot. So why wouldn't you count 3, 2, 1 for your guards? That's how my instinct goes, even though that I know that it's the other way around, and it's 1, 2, 3 for guards, working its way back. That's awfully close. You can barely tell which rock is closer. I think it's yellow. Looks like they're trying to figure it out. This frankly makes sense. That's really close. Gee, I can even barely tell that. And also, this camera isn't the greatest, so, you know, take what we can get, though. I think it's there. I don't know why they're saying that's down. Maybe it is down. I can't judge weight from out here. One of the things I have gotten good at is calling weight as a skip, because my team is, or I guess was, notorious for not being able to call weight. or if they did, I couldn't hear it, or if they did, it was wrong. But that was like Chaska, and then mostly just like playing at the club, because a couple of the people that I normally play with are multi-year curlers, but you know, one of them didn't do it at all last year. They did a different sport last year, didn't like it, so now they're doing this. You know, it's just because one of my members of my team is from Bowling Green, Ohio. He's not actually from the Midland Club, so we're playing with 3, and then we have somebody fill in, and so sometimes that's, you know, somebody who's a first or second year. Sometimes that's somebody who's here that's a third or fourth year that is just club curling. You know, there's a couple players that we have like that that aren't playing in nationals or nationals playdowns, but you know, they still curl. See how this shot is. Second to last for yellow. Think about that for way too long. I think that's there. Maybe a little up. Looks like they just shot the field goal right on through there. A little bit too much to get the curl to draw under. Boy, all those rocks are so close. I honestly think I'd call that top rock is first, yellow rock is second, rock on the right side is third. Just from an overhead view like this, that's how I'd be calling that. Boy, those are really close. Last rock for red. Yellow has the hammer. With red team having scored 3 last end, they definitely pick things up and put the pressure on for yellow to score. It's down, they gotta be there. Well, maybe it's not. Wow. Wow, they barely skid that by. That is a pretty shot right there. Good job, guys. Small round of applause in the warm room for that shot. Just barely sneaked by that top one. Not even by, I wouldn't even call it an inch. Probably be less than that. Centimeters even. We're getting pretty close to an hour and a half, and we're on the 6th end here. 57 views in total, 14 concurrent. Thank you to every single one of you guys. You know, what little small marginal amount of revenue this whole stream thing might actually get for the club, it definitely adds up, and it's good to have people watching the streams, especially for these big events. You know, I did World of Curling when it was here, probably about a month ago, maybe a little less than a month ago, and you know, there were people from all over the world watching that. I mean, I think there were people from Sweden watching it, and there was people from some other country in the south of Europe they had gone to a curling club at. Yeah, you know, they had some pretty cool stuff. So it was a lot of fun to do that. I enjoy this, and I enjoy having you guys watching, so thanks. I think red got 2, maybe 3 there. And it looks like they're shaking. 6th end. 6 ends for the first women's, the GLCA. After a strong start by yellow there, scoring 2 points over 1, and then 2 points in the 4th by red. You know, red just took over by the 4th end there and just kept their lead strong as they kept going. So Team Carroll, or equivalent name, or members of the team, I don't know who their last name for their team actually is, but is going to take the win on this game. So suppose that cuts things a little bit shorter than I intended them to be, but it was a good job by all the members, and thank you guys for watching the stream, as I was saying just a few minutes prior. Looks like they're going to get a picture here. You can watch them line up. As I said, though, you know, thank you guys for joining the stream, watching the stream, wherever you end up watching from. Team Carroll or equivalent name wins over Team Hoffmeister. So for the first draw of the GLCA U18 Playdowns at the lovely Midland Curling Club here in Midland, Michigan, I am Jasper Krengel, and I hope you've enjoyed the stream and have a good rest of your day. Thanks, and see you around.